Hi, I'm Diana Yeh, and I'm an academic at City University of London. Today, I want to introduce you to East and Southeast Asian Heritage Month. What I'm going to share draws on my research, so only represents my particular point of view rather than a definitive overview. But I hope this will give you a starting point for you to find out more. So, what is East and Southeast Asian Heritage Month? Many of you are probably familiar with Black History Month or even South Asian Heritage Month, but how many of you have heard of East and Southeast Asian Heritage Month? Like Black History Month, EC Heritage Month is an annual observance, but one that gives visibility and celebrates the history, heritage, and contributions of East and Southeast Asian communities to Britain. It was first launched by BSEAN, Britain's East and Southeast Asian network, in September 2021.
Hello, we're BSEAN, Britain's East and Southeast Asian network.
We are a community-focused, volunteer-led organisation with a mission to empower, educate and embrace East and Southeast Asian people and their allies in the UK.
Our advocacy spotlights EC experiences through our online platforms, research and community events, providing a safe space for sharing knowledge, creating joy and fostering connections.
Not only do we create awareness campaigns, content creation, educational materials and awesome events, we also offer professional diversity and inclusion services to businesses and organisations.
With a focus on anti-racism and joyful advocacy.
And we do this completely voluntarily alongside our day jobs.
Our vision is one where our communities are seen and supported in all spaces.
That's why we launched EC Heritage Month, celebrated every year in the month of September.
It's a jam-packed programme of events to celebrate, acknowledge and learn about the incredible ways in which our communities have helped to shape the UK.
We are a small but perfectly formed team, and we rely on your support.
Visit our website to find out more about our work, how to donate to our cause, and sign up for our newsletter.
Also, don't forget to follow us on social media and continue spreading #ECJoy.
If you haven't heard of the term EC, don't worry. The widespread use of the category East and Southeast Asian, and the term EC for short, is very new. Even many ECs themselves may not be aware of the term. And this is why it's so important. East and Southeast Asians are such an invisible group in Britain that there isn't even a category for us in the census. The term started to gain real currency as part of an anti-racist response from East and Southeast Asian individuals and groups around Britain to the surge of anti-Asian racial violence that was sparked by COVID. News of the COVID's outbreak in China led to a global rise in racial attacks on anyone who looked Chinese. This included not only an increase in physical, verbal and symbolic attacks and an entrenching of structural issues that took place on the street, in public transport, workplaces, in the media and social media, and in public and political discourse. Despite underreporting, sources suggest that hate crimes against the Chinese in the UK almost tripled in January to March 2020. Recent figures by the anti-racist grassroots campaign group End Violence and Racism against East and Southeast Asian communities suggest that hate crimes against East and Southeast Asians increased by 27% between 2019 and 2020. Academic research confirms this rise, with Gray and Hanson, for example, arguing that the likelihood of East and Southeast Asians in London being a victim of hate crime rose from around 3% to 4% prior to the COVID-19 outbreak to 10% in February 2020 and over 16% in March 2020. But despite this traumatising experience, it also galvanised anti-racist consciousness amongst East and Southeast Asian communities in Britain. Grassroots organisations began to organise around a shared pan-East and Southeast Asian experience to create networks of care, solidarity and resistance. So the term East and Southeast Asian reflects a collective bid for recognition and belonging, and is now becoming institutionalised, with scores of civil society groups organising under the term. Hi, I'm Dr. Diana Yeh. Thanks for watching. This is first in a series of lectures featuring East and Southeast Asian academics. For more information, please go to echub.co.uk.